Jacoby. We are the duo known as Jalen Jacoby. What is it that we
get
do?
the people what they want.
Jalen, of course, we're going to break down what was a riveting, fascinating NFL draft. But before we start with the draft, Aaron Rodgers dropped a bomb on draft day. He just dropped a bomb on draft day. Early on in the day, Aaron Rodgers decided to call up Adam Schefter and say, you know what? I'm not coming back to Green Bay. There's no chance I'm playing for Green Bay again. And he did it on draft day. Jalen Rose, what do you think about him doing this on this day?
I've never seen Star Trek, but as you start telling this story, it sounds like a Han Solo move. How about that? Because he tried to bully them into actually trading him on draft day. He didn't say nothing yesterday. He didn't say nothing the day before. He's like, wait a minute, the 49ers moving up for a quarterback? Let me see if I can slide in there.
He really thought he was trying to be slick. He was trying to be slick. Like, I'll just trade myself to the 49ers real quick on draft day. Like he could do that. That's not how it works, Mr. Rodgers. But
hey,
Jalen, what do you think? What do you think the future is? Like, does he play week one? Does he play for the Packers this season?
Well, hey, Green Bay, you're in trouble. Because this ain't Tom Brady leaving the Patriots in his 40s after he won all of those Super Bowls. This is Aaron Rodgers saying he want to leave after he just won MVP. Didn't he just win MVP?
Oh,
this
he's
year?
MVP league. He's the current MVP of the NFL.
Right.
He said, I don't want to play for you anymore.
And they went to the NFC Championship 2 years in a row. And so here's what you do, Green Bay. You come with the blank check and you pay the man. See, here's what has happened. What had happened was Aaron Rodgers had 2 years left on his deal, Jacoby. None of it's guaranteed.
Well, that's what it just follow the money. That's what all comes back to. He
None of
is upset about the money, but Jalen, he's also very upset about something else. This happened on draft day, and there is some irony to that because it was just last year's draft when the Green Bay Packers traded up to pick that man, Jordan Love. And that still bothers Aaron Rodgers to this day. In the past 10 NFL drafts, only one player in the first round that the Packers have picked was an offensive player, and that was what Aaron Rodgers considers to be his future replacement. Is this going to be okay? Like, can they fix this and him wear those colors again in Wisconsin?
A blank check. That's what you do. Like, we can have all of these conversations about appreciation. But the one thing I learned about business, they show you how much they appreciate you by how much they pay you. Not how many times they email you, not how many times they text you, not how many times they tell you. Your value is going to come from what you have the leverage to negotiate, not from what you deserve. That's how the Green Bay Packers can fix it.
Well, much like Aaron Rodgers hijacked draft day, I'm not going to let him hijack this show because it was a fascinating draft last night, and all eyes were on the number 3 pick. We knew it was going to be Lawrence number 1. We knew it was going to be Wilson number 2. And at number 3, the 49ers picked Trey Lance. As Jalen Rose predicted, what do you think about the fit of Trey Lance in the Bay?
I think that if you go Mac Jones, you know you're going to get what the Patriots are going to end up, a steady, long-time quarterback that's going to be a surgeon in the pocket. You take Justin Fields, you're going to get pretty much the same thing, but more athleticism. To me, when you move up to 3, you're trying to go for the home run. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to have Rod Carew and Tony Gwynn. It's another thing to have Ken Griffey Jr. Then it's another thing to have Barry Bonds. And so anytime somebody's comparing you or looking at your film and say you might resemble Patrick Mahomes, you got to take that chance. You got to take that chance. And that's what the 49ers did.
Of course, and Kyle Shanahan, remember, Trey Lance played 1 game this season. So Kyle Shanahan saw something. He saw something in this young man because he's putting a lot at risk by giving up all that draft capital to move to number 3 and then making this somewhat risky pick because there isn't so much film on him. And you know what? I'm rooting for this to work. I'm really rooting for this to work because Shanahan can draw up some great plays, and I'm really rooting for Trey Lance to work. But very quickly, Jalen, what does this mean for Jimmy G? Week 1, is Jimmy G the starter? Is he competing with Trey Lance?
What happens with Jimmy G is what normally happens when your team drafts a quarterback really high in the draft. This is going to be a transition year. I hope he's renting. I hope he's leasing. And soon as he struggles, if Lance showed that he's ready and he's able to pick up the offense, he'll either be benched and or traded. But I would anticipate this is his final season with the 49ers based on those circumstances.
The 49ers traded up to get Trey Lance, and the Chicago Bears traded up as well. And guess what they got? The future of their franchise, hopefully Justin Fields at number 11. What do you think about the fit of Fields in Chicago?
I'm going to say something I probably have never said. I'm proud of this Ohio State Buckeye. I really am. Because I saw his reputation and his stock actually drop without ever playing a football game.
Unfair.
Without ever playing a football game. Do y'all see this footage right here? When that man has a clean pocket, trust me when I'm telling you, dog, when that man has a clean pocket, he gonna pick you apart every single time. Like every single time. And so for him to drop the way he did, and now all of a sudden the Bears, who were in the Russell Wilson sweepstakes, didn't necessarily have to give up that type of capital to get that game-changing player. I now think Justin Fields becomes their starting quarterback, and the Bears did a really good job of navigating to make it happen.
And if you remember the end of last season, the Bears offense was absolutely anemic. Like, they just could not score. And the Bears defense is pretty good. Hopefully Justin Fields can put some points up on the board and give this defense a chance to get them some wins. Now, Jalen, when he got drafted there, something came to my mind. Jalen's going to have to see this dude 2 times a year. Jalen's going to have to see Justin Fields 2 times a year because your Detroit Lions are in the same division, and they had an opportunity to pick Justin Fields. But they did the safe thing. They picked the best tackle in the draft, Penei Sewell. What do you feel about this pick from the Lions?
Penei, welcome to the city. And I know that you hear a lot of diehard Lions fans showing some level of disappointment or frustration. For those of us who really follow closely, I'm not a fool, Jacoby. I know he's going to be a fantastic player. I'm going to get his jersey. He's going to hold down the left tackle and become a Lion Hall of Famer at that spot. Except he's going to be protecting Jared Goff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's not necessarily our long-term solution at quarterback. So therefore, to me, isn't quarterback kind of an important position in football? Did I miss something? Like,
I would say amongst team sports, the quarterback is the most important position of all team sports. The most important individual amongst all team sports is the quarterback in the NFL.
So let me get this right. So we drafted in the top 7 the last 2 years. We know Matthew Stafford has dealt with injury, and we know he's on his way out. I know he's on his way out. You have a chance to draft a quarterback last year, Justin Herbert, Tua, anybody. Don't do it.
Oh.
Now you trade Stafford for this high salary veteran in Jared Goff for 2 more years that you don't know what you're getting. We should have one of those guys this season on their rookie deal.
Yes.
And then now you draft the tackle. You feel what I'm saying, fam? And how about this? One more thing. For everybody out there that's really enthusiastic about us getting our left tackle for the future, that means our quarterback got to be right-handed.
Does.
What if we decide to get a left-handed quarterback? And so I, again, applaud this young man. Welcome to Detroit. I'm still taking the over, 5.5. The Lions will win over 5.5 games, but I think now, since I don't know who our quarterback of the future is, we probably won't get to the 11 games I initially predicted.
Jalen, look at it this way. Now, with Penei Sewell holding down the left tackle position, Jared Goff will have an extra half second before he throws the incompletion. That's how I see this. It was like before Jared Goff throws the interception, he'll have an extra half second to process what the defense is doing. Instead of worrying about scoring points and moving the ball, now you don't have to worry about the right defensive end. The other 10 defenders, you have to worry about them, but now one of the 11 defenders is taken care of. One of the 11 defenders is taken care of. That's all you have to worry about. And right now, we're going to move on to one of our signature segments. Of course, it is draft related. Time for Soft Move or Boss Move. Jalen Waddle was drafted number 6 by the Miami Dolphins,
shout,
reuniting
namesake.
him with Tua Tagovailoa. And when he was drafted, instead of giving love to the family, he was out. He's going straight to see Roger Goodell. Everybody turns around. Now, this was apparently pre-planned, but soft move or boss move, bouncing on the family to get to the stage.
This is a Jalen telepathy thing. For everybody out there overreacting to this, he had already gave love. He had already given dap to all of his family. And also, here's what I want all draft picks to be ready for and to embrace. It's a beautiful responsibility that you're going to go from being a member of the family, a son, a brother, a cousin, an uncle, in a lot of ways to a CEO and or a boss as you try to teach the people that you love how to fish versus always feeding them fish. He's going to be a terrific player. Oh, that's right. So they drafted Tua, and they're going to get Tua a weapon. So Joe Burrow gets drafted, they're going to get him a weapon, right, that he's familiar with. Trevor Lawrence gets drafted, he gets a college weapon that he's familiar with. And we still trying to figure out what we're going to do at quarterback?
You're still talking about the Lions. You know why this is a boss move? Because you're going to see all the aunts and uncles and moms and sisters for the rest of your life. You're only going to walk across that stage and hold up that jersey one time. Another thing about this boss move, best outfit in the draft, Jalen Waddle. Best outfit in the draft, easy Jalen Waddle, boss move. I'm so happy about him. And if you're a Dolphins fan, you should be happy about what happened last night.
That boy clean.
There is a lot more draft to get to. The Lions didn't get their quarterback. But did the Patriots? Mac 17 here in the South Street, Seaport District of Manhattan. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, it is now time for the segment where you decide what we discuss. It is time for Keep It Moving. If you want to discuss the topic, say hit the brakes. If not, we will keep it moving. And we start with Bill Belichick having a quarterback fall to him at 15. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
It just makes me happy that Method Man is a part of our show every day. The show is dope. Hit the brakes.
Jalen Rose, the Patriots, gonna Patriot. Bill Belichick was sitting there at 15, and he wasn't expecting to walk home with a new quarterback. But guess what? Mac Jones was still there, and they got him. What do you think about the fit of champion Mac Jones and former champion Bill Belichick?
Gotta call Mac Jones.
Call him.
I'm happy for he and his family. And here's the number one reason why. Not only does he get a chance to play for and be coached by Bill Belichick, he didn't go in the top 5. Because had he gone in the top 5, I think that would have been a different level of pressure. Yep. I think now falling to the Patriots, he gets to ease into his career. And there's something to be said for that. And on this show, I think we did a great job of acknowledging, if you're going to compare Mac Jones to somebody, compare him to the GOAT Tom Brady.
Yep. This was going around the internet yesterday. This has been going around our show for like 3 weeks now. Another thing I want to say, Jalen, if you're Mac Jones, that he was the guy. Every draft, there's this one guy that falls and they keep showing him, and he's sad, and he's watching Carolina pick and Broncos pick, and he's thinking maybe I'm going there, and he was feeling down about himself. But he's got to be so happy to fall to 15 and end up as a New England Patriot. So I can imagine the feeling that he was feeling while he's sitting there looking at the camera focused on him, and then to find out he's going to the Patriots, he must have been absolutely elated. Moving on. Last night became a reunion of a lot of players who played together in the NCAA. Jalen, what do you think about this strategy of pairing successful pairs from college in the pros?
Well, hold on. Let me get this right. Isn't team sports about chemistry?
Yes.
And that's not on the stat sheet. However, when you take Trevor Lawrence, number 1, get him an explosive player that he played in college with, like Travis Etienne, Joe Burrow. I know we wanted them to take an offensive lineman, but if Joe Burrow's going to be a great player, Jamar Chase and he are now going to light up the league, and you go find an offensive lineman, by the way, not only in this draft, but another year. How about Tua? Tua now gets to play with Jalen Waddle, who he played at Alabama with. And so having that level of familiarity on your roster with young players, it's a game-changing thing because they get to grow together, they get to learn together, and obviously they get to ball together.
My son has a blanket called Stripey that he used to rock with. And I feel like all these quarterbacks got their security blankets. They all got their own little Stripeys now right there in the huddle with them. Jalen, Aaron Rodgers hijacked draft day, but Tim Tebow really tried to. And Tim Tebow wants to be a tight end for the Jaguars now? Like what?
So I'm going to translate this for you. Basically, okay. Urban Meyer got the keys to the Jacksonville Kingdom, and he's going to find a way to give his favorite quarterback a check. And I'm not mad at it at all. They haven't since the beginning of time.
Over under on receptions Tim Tebow has for the Jaguars this year, 1. I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under.
How many completions? How many completions?
That's exactly what I meant. 0. Jalen, the Dolphins had a draft strategy. You know those flow charts? Should we draft this player? Is he named Jalen? If yes, draft him. If no, don't draft him. They got not 1, but 2 Jalens in the first round of the draft. What a day for Jalen.
How about this? You look back at the 1994 NBA draft, there was one Jalen that got drafted. Now when I look at the NFL and the NBA draft, I just say rest in peace to my mom who created the name. Big shout to Pablo Torre, who did a great breakdown on the name Jalen. And you ready for this, Jacoby?
What's that?
I'm going to have to get a Dolphins hat.
Oh, yeah? We on the bandwagon now? I'm going to have to get a
Dolphins hat.
Oh,
yeah, I'm on the bandwagon. Y'all wrong. Y'all
look at you. Because the Lions are going to be trash. Jump the bandwagon. You're now a Die Easy fan. Come to the dark side, baby. Come to the dark side. The same guy that said Han Solo was part of Star Trek needs to come to the dark side. Moving on, there was some actual very interesting and impactful basketball played yesterday, including a huge performance from a rookie. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes on this one real quick.
2 very significant things happened in this game. The first we'll discuss is Kevin Porter Jr., who's waived by the Cavs, scored 50 points, 9 threes, and 11 assists. Jalen, what do you think about this performance from Porter?
There's a score of the game, and it's a game of life. And this is one of the young men, when he got picked, Jacoby, he just needed some support psychologically and emotionally. And he struggled in Cleveland. He had a couple of episodes, and that led to them releasing him. But when you get picked by another team, it's one thing. But when they have a healer on the staff like John Lucas, who's a legend and who's known for so many years to find ways to be able to connect with players on a different level, I think that, along with Silas, has really unlocked the character of this young man. And now you see the results in his game. 50 points and 11 assists from a rookie that was in the G League this year? Oh, man, that is crazy.
Jalen, it is now time for another draft-related soft move or boss move. Patrick Surtain was drafted yesterday, and we won't discuss that. We're going to discuss the chain that he Saturday on ESPN. First, we start with the Warriors against the Rockets, and then in the second game, we have the Nuggets taking on the Clippers. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, I'm watching the draft last night. Couldn't help but notice a lot of diversity in the people that are shaking Roger Goodell's hand. No diversity in the draft rooms. Absolutely none. What do you think of that observation?
So 2021, in an era where we're talking about racial equality and reckoning, I watch one of my favorite sports that's predominantly black pick players that look predominantly like me, yet none of us are barely in positions of power.